Hey everyone, Mac here. Welcome to my 100% guide for REANIMAL, and in this video I'll be taking you through everything you need in order to get 100%, which includes 18 masks, 20 posters, 5 critters, 5 statues, 5 coffins, 10 resting places, 20 naval mines, as well as all of the missable achievements / trophies. And the reason I've color-coded some of these is because coffins and statues are fully missable and are required to be done in one playthrough. And one of the 18 masks requires you to have all the statues, although the others can be mopped up in chapter select. Our first collectible is available fairly early on in the game, in the first chapter. After climbing up a somewhat long ladder, instead of going forward, go around the catwalk to locate a door behind yourself. Go through that door, which will lead you to an outdoor balcony, and then here you'll be able to crawl through the little crack in the wall in order to pick up your first mask. Picking up the mask will unlock it for both players if you are playing online. If you then rejoin the main path and go around the corner, you'll end up in a room with a light switch that'll turn on some of the power. And in that room, we can get our first out of 10 resting locations for the Take a Load Off achievement / trophy. I'll show you more than 10 locations. But for this one thing you might want to note is that each person, if you're playing in co-op, has to do this. It doesn't count for both people from what I've noticed. After activating the power running across the rotating pipe and then going across the bridge, you'll enter into this locker room. This is the first of many tricky collectibles. Walk across the room and open up the locker. And here, all you need to do is walk into the locker and crouch. Here you'll find a secret room where you can find your second mask on the ground. We're still in the first chapter, but we're now outside, climbing up a little ladder, and before you go into the building, kind of through the little train tracks, go to the outside edge of the cliff, and there are 3 important things to grab. First, you can push the guy on the chair to get the Dark Tourism achievement / trophy. Then you can sit on the chair for our second of 10 resting leg locations. Make sure you do that, and you'll notice a save icon in the bottom corner as well when you do. And then on the wall, on the far end, you'll also find your first of 20 posters. If you then follow the train tracks into the interior of the walls, there's a couple of doors. The first one will be to the right of the screen, and it's the first door you can enter. As you enter, it'll be a bathroom or a washroom, depending on where in the world you're from, I guess. But in this first room, make sure you grab the poster before you advance through the crack in the wall. If you head back outside into the courtyard and stick on that right-hand side of the screen, but go further away from where we entered, you'll find a second door. And in here, if you go up the catwalk and through the little door, you'll be able to find a mask on the ground, which you'll want to make sure you pick up before you finish off the area, as we will be leaving pretty soon. So last but not least, now that we have the key, we should be able to enter the room to the left side of the interior of the walls here. And as you enter, if you just make your way down, you'll be able to notice, I believe, like a chair / couch. And here you should be able to sit on this object. Make sure you do that before you enter the back of the room. And if you sit on that, you should get a save icon, which should be 3 out of 10 for the Take a Load Off achievement / trophy. Once you fix the rail car, you'll have to push all the way to the end of the tracks, and there are 2 collectibles you want to grab before you move on. The first one is a coffin. As I mentioned earlier in this video, coffins must all be done in the same playthrough. There are 5 coffins. If you do all 5 coffins in the same playthrough, at the end of the game, you will get the secret ending. You cannot chapter select this, and you cannot pick up off of a save either. You have to do them all in one playthrough. So for the first coffin, after you get off the rail car, run back outside to where we came from, go through the actual passenger car, and then on the other side near the cliff, you'll be able to find a coffin. Each coffin also has a somewhat lengthy little kind of cinematic that happens once you open it. So just make sure you wait that out before you rejoin the game and get control of your characters again. Rejoin the main path towards the end of the railway where we parked our car, and here you'll find a crack in the wall to the left-hand side of the screen. Go into that crack, and here you'll find your first of 5 hidden statues, which also need to be collected in the same playthrough. Near the end of the first chapter, you'll be chased by this ice cream truck. Then it will drive away, and you'll regain control of your characters. Instead of going away from the screen, come towards the screen, up the hill, and here you'll find a small little RV with a poster. Yours will be red, but if it's a poster you already have, it'll be white. In the next chapter of the game, you will have to enter this house, which has some mannequins in the middle of the room. You would knock those over in order to pick up their heads and throw them through the glass to exit this building. Before you do that, make sure you sneak through the crack in the wall on the left side of the room to pick up your 4th mask, the pig mask, my personal favorite for the rest of the playthrough. You'll then get to the cinema. Don't worry, another place you cannot miss. Go into the cinema, and as you enter, come towards the screen, jumping up on the table, and here you'll find your 4th of 20 posters. Make sure you grab that poster, and there's a missable achievement or trophy you can grab while in here as well, called Rockin' Pop. Here, near the door, you can find a brick on the ground. You'll pick it up with Y or triangle, and then take that brick to the left side of the screen and throw it using the action button, which I believe is X or square. If you throw it at the popcorn machine, it will unlock, but reload the last checkpoint so your co-op partner can do it too. Once you grab the bolt cutters and then enter the cinema past the dining hall using this door with a bell on it to enter the exterior, you'll be able to have a seat on the bench for 4 out of 10 of the Take a Load Off achievement / trophy. There are other items in this area you can sit on, but you will not get more progress. You can only get 1 piece of progress per area in this game. But there is a collectible poster in this area you'll want to grab. From the benches, run across the playground, past the slide towards the fence. On the fence, find your 5th of 20 posters. A little later on in the chapter, you will come to this room where you are required to go to get a crowbar. You'll use that crowbar to open up this door and free your little buddy. And before you leave this room, there are 2 seats you can sit on, and you should get some save progress to show up in the bottom right corner if you do so. There's a seat not far from where you grab the crowbar, and there's also a toilet seat at the end of the hall. Again, if you're doing this in co-op, both players have to sit. As you're trying to exit the cinema, you'll come from this outdoor section into the cinema, taking the first door on your left. You'll run across this room, and then you'll have to use your crowbar to get out of this door. After you get through this door, there should be another seat for the Take a Load Off achievement / trophy directly in front of you. Make sure you grab that before you move on for both characters if you're playing online. And then we're going to grab our first critter and our 5th mask in the game. There are 5 critters. You can get them through chapter select as well as the masks that come with the critters. As you're exiting the cinema, now that you have both the bolt cutters and the crowbar, you have access to a room we didn't have access to before. You'll come out of the cinema and then go across the road and down into the screen. Here you'll notice an X marks the spot sign as well. And if you use your crowbar to get into the door near the top of these little steps, you'll enter into a small room with a spider that has a pylon on its head. I'm not sure if pylon is a Canadian word. Maybe you call it a traffic cone where you're from. If you then take the crowbar and beat the spider up, it will be one of your 5 critters, and then it'll drop the pylon, which is a mask, which becomes the favorite of my co-op partner for the rest of our playthrough. We're moving on to Chapter 3, which is called After the Flood. We have access to a boat, and you'll be required to dock on this little beach in order to get a harpoon, which is required for further progress of the main story. But before you do anything, after you dock, look to the left side of the screen to find a poster. After grabbing the harpoons, you'll get back on your boat, and you can use them to clear some of the mines. You have to clear 20 mines in your playthrough in order to get an achievement called, I believe, Naval Blazing. I think there are like 23, 24 mines. As long as you take out the obvious ones, you should be good. And as a main part of the story, you will progress towards the hotel But after taking out the hotel mine, do not go through the new opening. Instead, turn to the right and you'll find a little bit of a secret path. At the end of the secret path, you'll find 2 more mines. So we'll be up to at least 4, if not more. Depending on kind of how you count them, there are more than enough, so don't worry. So take out those 2 more, and then this will reveal a secret area. And in that secret area, you'll be able to dock in front of yourself. Run to the very back of the area. You'll notice a light in the building. You'll be able to crawl through this crack in the wall, go down a flight of stairs, and at the bottom of those stairs, you'll be able to find your second of 5 coffins. As a quick reminder, coffins are required for the secret ending. All 5 coffins must be done in the same playthrough and cannot be acquired through chapter select. A little bit later on, you'll open a large area with a giant cannon turret in the middle. We're still on our boat. There will be a monster on your right-hand side, and then a building kind of built into the cliff on the far end of the area. That's where we're supposed to go for the main story progression, but instead we're going to hug the island with the cannon on it. We'll come back here later in the story. But if you follow the edge of the rocks from the cannon, you'll be able to find a small opening in one of the mountainsides. Here, make sure you arm your harpoon as you will be attacked. But just take out this enemy and then go all the way to the very end of this tunnel. Dock your boat, get off, and find your 3rd coffin of 5 in the game. Again, as a simple reminder, all 5 coffins must be done in the same playthrough and cannot be acquired through chapter select if you do want to see the secret ending at the end of the game and get the achievement or trophy related to it. As you continue progressing through the main storyline, you'll climb this large ladder. You'll enter this large field with a barn in front of you. Stick to the left-hand side of this field, and as you approach the left edge, you'll see a scarecrow. Arm your crowbar, hit the scarecrow. This will reveal your second critter of the game. You'll then have to continue using your crowbar on the critter in order to get it to unlock, and it will also drop your 6th mask of the game if you've been following along. As you enter into the barn, you can grab your second of 5 hidden statues. As a reminder, hidden statues are also missable. All 5 must be done in the same playthrough. You cannot chapter select them. So either way, once you come into the barn, come towards the screen, and in the bottom right corner of the barn, you'll be able to light the statue. Again, once you leave this area, you can't come back, so make sure you do it before you leave. Once you push forward into the barn, you'll be able to go out of a door on the left-hand side. You'll come through this door. This will put you outside into a little bit of a walkway / field on the cliffside. You will get attacked by some seagulls. I'm going to cut that out in order to not make this video an hour long. And then as you get across, you'll enter into another wooden structure through a crack in the wall. And once inside, push to the far back of the barn to find a poster hanging up on a post in the back corner. Without spoiling the story, a bunch of things will happen. You will exit out of the burning barn, and there's a very tricky and very missable collectible here. The poster, you can grab it through chapter select, but it's really annoying because you have to do the whole chapter. Instead of going to the bus stop, make sure you grab the poster from the right-hand side telephone pole or power line and grab that poster, and then you can sit at the bus stop to end the chapter. And ending the chapter by sitting should also give you progress towards the Take a Load Off achievement / trophy. Moving on to Chapter 4. This chapter is called No Shelter. You start the chapter off by getting dropped off by the bus in front of this large building. And the first thing you want to do is grab the poster on the left side of the area before you enter inside. The next thing you'll do is enter into the building through the clock tower, and once you do this, there's like 3 or 4 things to do in this room. The first thing you should do is the Scared to Dust Missable achievement / trophy. This is unlocked for destroying all of the petrified statues in this room. So just take your crowbar or take your other character and start whacking away. There's a couple of ones that are hidden near the very bottom of the screen that can be very hard to see behind some boxes. So just keep whacking around the room until it unlocks. Do not exit this room yet. There's a few more things to do. In the back right corner of the room, you can take a load off. This is going to be our 8th out of 10. I will show you like 12 just in case you missed one or one doesn't track. You have a few extra in this walkthrough. And then in this room, you can also crawl through the bookshelf on the right-hand side of the screen. Once you enter into that room, you'll see a creature that gets scared and scurries away. But in this room, make sure you grab the poster on the far end. We are halfway done with posters now that we are at 10 out of 20. And that creature that scurried away is your 3rd out of 5 critters and will unlock your 7th mask as well. So crawl back into the room, grab your crowbar, take care of the critter, and make sure you pick up the mask at the end. And now you are ready to finally leave this room and work on some more achievements or trophies. I got my final critter. You won't get yours. You should have a few more to go. Shortly after that, you'll drop down a hatch. You'll come down falling on this bed. You'll break through this first barrier. And if you let your teammate get attacked and not survive, then you will get an achievement or trophy called Survival Instinct, which is for doing exactly that. After getting that Survival Instinct achievement / trophy, take care of the statues and head to the back of the hallway, ignoring the hole in the wall on the left side, instead crawling through the hole in the wall at the very back end of the room. Here you'll find your 3rd out of 5 hidden statues, reminding you that you'll need to do all 5 in the same playthrough if you want the mask at the end. Then you'll be able to climb back through the hole in the wall, and we can grab the Long Live the King achievement / trophy, which also rewards us with our 8th mask. Head into the next room as a part of main story progression. As you enter here, you'll notice a king sitting on the throne near kind of the middle of the room, and you'll begin to get attacked. You'll want to take your crowbar and basically survive and work your way to the back corner of the room. Your goal is to be here when the king tries to escape, and as they try to escape, you have to take them out, and then that will get you the achievement or trophy, and you can pick up their mask. You have to have some of the enemies left over in the room, or else this won't happen, and if he gets away, just reload the last checkpoint before you move on. A little later on in the chapter, you'll jump across this gap, and you'll be able to go through the door kind of at the bottom of the screen here. And as you enter through this door on the other side, you should notice a couch, like a small couch. Sit here with both of your online characters if you're playing in co-op with a friend, and that should be 9 out of 10 for the Take a Load Off achievement. Shortly after the last couch, you'll enter into this room with these kind of tall, stacked shelves. There will be a couple of statues you need to take care of, but at the end of the hall, you'll be able to grab a poster before you exit to the left. After completing a little combat section, you'll sneak through a crack in the wall, and then you'll come through this door. In order to progress through the main story, you would jump away from the screen across the gap. Instead, come towards the screen to find a small crack in the wall. Go through here in order to find some potatoes on the ground. Yank at those potatoes in order to discover that they are indeed your 9th mask. Make sure you interact with them a second time for it to actually count. You'll then enter into this room as a mandatory part of the main story. There will be 3 enemies, and then you would use the wheel on the stage to kind of bring up the rope. Before you do that, as it kind of triggers the next end of the chapter, go to the bottom left corner of the room. Here you'll find a secret door, and you can go through this door to find your 4th out of 5 coffins. A friendly reminder, all 5 coffins must be done in the same playthrough if you want the secret ending to work at the end of the game. You cannot grab the coffins using chapter select. The next chapter in the game is called Down in a Hole. It's one of the shorter, quicker chapters, and kind of near the beginning, you'll walk across a log, the pig will run across, then you'll be able to go to the left towards the pig, and for the Creature Comforts achievement / trophy, all you want to do is approach the pig and then interact with it. Both of your characters must do it if you're playing online in co-op with a friend, which is a little weird, but I guess that's just how this game works. There will then be a chase sequence that will end up in this room, and in this room there's a couple of things you want to grab before you exit out. On the right side of the room, once the camera kind of flips over, you'll find a wardrobe. You may know the kind of thing that's coming next, as we've went through a couple of wardrobes already in this video. Just walk into the wardrobe. You have to interact with the crack in order to kind of scurry on through, and this will be your 12th out of 20 posters. My achievement will unlock here because I did not film this video technically in order. And then you'll be able to exit out of this room with your 12th poster, and you'll be able to take a load off by sitting on this chair right here. This is the 10th one I'm showing in this video, but if the achievement or trophy doesn't unlock, don't worry, I'm going to show you a couple of more. Then, if you exit this room through the door at the back, as you come out, you'll notice a piano directly in front of you. Interact with that piano at least 2 or 3 times using both of your characters, and here you will get the Lullabye achievement / trophy to unlock for playing the piano, as is custom in the Little Nightmares franchise. From the piano, we can grab our next poster by going up the staircase and then going through the first door that we kind of come across here on the left side of the screen. This will take you to an outdoor balcony, and on this balcony near the edge, there is a poster on the wall. There's also a flower in a small pot on the chair that I thought would be something, but it might just be a small little Easter egg. Then, if you make your way up to the top floor and exit out to the balcony, you'll also be able to do the Take a Load Off achievement / trophy. This is our 11th location that we've sat at. I'll show you one more later on just in case it doesn't unlock for you, but continue on from here. The chapter will end with this boss battle right here, and you can do a Missable miscellaneous achievement / trophy called Shot Through the Heart. And for this, you'll need to take out 10 of the statues during the boss fight. Now, the way to do this is to pick up the spears, and you actually don't want to complete the boss fight too quickly. Instead, you want to use the spears on the characters who come out between the phases. If you don't damage the boss fight will continue basically forever. So just dodge the boss's attacks and keep using the spears on the statues until the Shot Through the Heart achievement / trophy unlocks, and only now should you try to actually finish the boss fight. The next chapter is called Nobody Left Behind. It's one of the longer, more involved chapters. You'll have to turn on this generator, and before you head back into the building, make sure you push this box down off of the balcony. We'll need it for later. So grab the generator, push the box down, and then head back into the generator room here, and we'll have to input a special code, which is middle, bottom, bottom, middle. And then if you press the lever, this is the secret bunker code. It'll unlock the secret bunker achievement / trophy, which also prints poster number 14 from the little slot in the side of the wall. So make sure you grab the poster after you do that, and you'll also get that achievement / trophy to unlock for you. Then you can actually put in the correct code, and once you put the correct code in, it'll deliver some missiles for you. You'll be able to exit out of the building, and you'll want to run to the left side of the beach. Here you'll find the critter that we knocked off inside of the box earlier on in this chapter. And if you take out this critter, you'll also find your 10th mask. That's why we had to push the box down near the generator earlier. With the missiles delivered, you can head back towards the large cannon in the middle of this water area. And for this, you'll probably want to grab 2 shells with you, and then you'll want to bring the shells with you into the cannon itself. Once you're inside the cannon, open up the windows and load the cannon, and then use the wheel to rotate the cannon. For this secret achievement / trophy, what we need to do is we need to hit the tower that we just came from instead of shooting the monster that would allow us to progress further in the level. You can rotate the cannon in kind of either direction, although it's kind of a lot of rotating, and it can be pretty tough to actually spot that building in the side of the cliff, as it's pretty foggy in the game. Feel free to turn up your in-game brightness if you're having trouble seeing it, or you can aim at some of the red lights in the water. And with the aim correctly positioned, use both of the characters to pull the switch and get the Non-Cannonical achievement / trophy. Then you'll use the cannon to take out the monster, which will clear the path for you. And as you enter into the next area, you'll be able to grab a bunch of mines. For me, I counted this as mines 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and 11. You'll get 4 kind of as soon as you enter the area. If you then progress forward but keep to the left, you can get 2 more. And then instead of docking your boat near the big ship, which is where the game wants you to go for main story progression, you want to actually follow the kind of rocks all the way to the end of the area. Here you'll find what I believe is 1 more mine, and then you'll be able to find a path that leads you to your 11th mask. You'll have to get off the boat on this small shoreline in order to pick it up before you head back to the boat for the main story progress. As a part of the main story, though, you will have to enter the boat by climbing up these chains. As soon as you enter inside, you'll be able to find your 15th poster by dropping down and then heading to the left of the screen before you enter into the elevator. There's a mandatory section of the game where you run away from a boss, and during that section, some of the mines should automatically explode. Based on my counters, these do count towards the 20 we need. Again, as a part of the main story progress, you will awaken the whale. The whale will move out of the way. Then the screen should fade to black, and once you regain control of your characters, there are 2 masks on the ground. They are unique. The differentiator is that one of them has a hole on the top and one of them doesn't. Make sure you pick up both of these masks before you move on, as the chapter is closing out. You'll then get back on your mini boat after clearing the way where the whale was blocking it. And as you make your way forward, you should spot an automatic mine. And then you'll be able to make your way underneath this bridge, watching out for the many enemies. As you come to the end of the area, do not go forward. Instead, look to the right-hand side, and you will find a small little doorway kind of in the rock face. This will lead you to a tunnel, watching out for the enemy. In this tunnel, at the very back end, you'll find your 4th hidden statue. Keeping in mind that statues must be done in 1 playthrough if you want your statue achievement to unlock at the end of this video. After the hidden statue, you'll rejoin the main path, and these should be the last mines you need for the Naval Blazing achievement / trophy. There was 2 that were blocking the tunnel, and then I believe there's 4 or more after you exit the tunnel. This should bring you up to 20 or more pretty easily. Additionally, this will be your last chance to get the Lost at Sea achievement / trophy, which is unlocked for basically piloting the boat for a certain amount of distance, but the tracking on this is split between co-op partners if you're playing online. You can also mop this up in another playthrough if you prefer. Moving on to chapter number 7, the spoils. As soon as you gain control of the characters, walk forward. There's a lot of collectibles kind of back to back here. On the left side of the walkway, you'll find poster number 16. Make sure you grab that. Before continuing forward, look to the right-hand side of the street. Here you'll find a small door you can interact with. You'll pull it up, and then once you do that, you can crawl underneath it, and you'll be able to pick up mask number 14 inside of this room. Make sure you grab that before you move on. You'll then be walking down the trenches, and 3 of the soldiers will go bye-bye. I believe one of them does a Kurt Cobain cosplay. And then as you come around the corner, look to the right-hand side, you'll find a secret door here. You'll be able to crawl through it using the interaction button. And then inside of here, you'll be able to find your 15th out of 18 masks. Continue from the last collectible through the trenches, and the path will open up and curve to the right-hand side. Take note that in the left corner, you'll find a crack in the trench wall, and here you'll be able to go through and find your 5th and final statue, assuming you have done all of the ones previously, or else it won't work. Once you're here, you should also be able to grab your 16th mask, which is tied to the statue progression. You won't see me unlocking it because of how I filmed this video. A little later on in the chapter, you'll be chased into this room. You'll be able to walk through the door on the right-hand side, which will reveal a ladder that you'll be able to take down and into a bit of a bunker. At the bottom of this ladder, instead of going forward, walk towards the screen. And as you walk towards the screen, you should see a poster reveal itself. This should be poster number 17 if you're keeping along, and you'll want to grab it before you move on. You'll then come down this hallway past a locked door that will require bolt cutters. You'll have to go into this operating room as a mandatory part of the main story. Ignore the bolt cutters temporarily. Instead, crouch in the hole underneath the cabinets in the kitchen. As you enter into here, you should find mask number 17, which looks like a frog. Make sure you pick that up. Your 5th and final coffin will be unlocked when you're running through the area and all of the grenades are going off. As you end up at the end of this hallway, a grenade will go off and push a wheelchair from left to right. And you have to actually backtrack, and this grenade blew a hole in the wall. You'll have to then go into this hole in the wall. This one's very well hidden, and you can then spin the hatch handle in order to open up the hatch door, and as you reveal a ladder inside, you'll be able to climb down and go to your 5th and final coffin, reminding you that all 5 coffins have to be done in the same playthrough and you cannot chapter select them. The achievement or trophy for the coffins does not unlock at this point. When you reach the end of the game, you will unlock the secret ending, and when you beat the game and see the secret ending, you will get the achievement for having all of the coffins and revealing the secret ending. In Chapter 8, called The Watcher, you'll come to this area where a sniper is shooting at you, and you'll have to be quick and use cover in order to stay safe. You'll go from right to left and then up these stairs. You have to come here, and instead of going to the right, go to the left into a hidden room. In that room, find poster number 18. You can also find poster number 19 very close by, making sure you sprint through this section so that the sniper doesn't get you. And then instead of going up the stairs, which is pretty obviously where the game wants you to go, you want to actually go kind of underneath the stairs, and behind them, this will reveal poster number 19, which you'll want to make sure you grab before you head up the box and to the door above. A little bit later after that, you'll use this plank to get across from building to building, jumping through the window. And here, if you don't already have the take a load off achievement / trophy, there is a seat to sit on. This is how I personally unlocked my achievement or trophy. And I'm reminding you that both players in your co-op game have to do this if you want it to unlock. We can then grab the Friends Like These achievement / trophy, which is for accidentally on purpose shooting your friend. You'll enter into this room. You'll notice that one of the people in the back have a key. You'll need to use the gun to get the key, but instead you want to turn the gun on your co-op partner. I noticed that you kind of have to be very, very close to each other for this to work. And if it works, you unfortunately fail, but you get an achievement or trophy out of the way. Once you do grab the key, you can then exit the room, and we can grab a critter, our final critter of the game, and our final mask of the game if you've been keeping up with the video. So after you use the key, you'll have to use the crowbar on this kind of dishwasher or stove. I guess it's a stove. Use the crowbar on the stove to pry it open. It will reveal a critter inside, and then that critter will run into the room we came from. And for this critter, normally we would just use our crowbar, but I don't know if this one's too fast for that, but I ended up just picking up one of the weapons on the ground and then using that to take care of the critter. This should be your final critter of the game. If you've done all 5, you'll unlock the achievement or trophy. This should also be your final mask of the game. If you've done all 18, you should get an achievement or trophy. I believe 2 of the masks in the menu are tied to like the deluxe version of the game, and those are not required for the completion. For our final poster, you'll have to come from outside through this door. Don't worry, you can't miss it. When you enter the door, you should notice that you're in a room labeled number 5. And then to exit the room, you would use the door on the far end. Instead, use the crowbar on the elevator doors, or at least that's what they look like. Pry open those doors, and then if you head inside, you might want to use your flashlight. It's a little dark in here. You can find the poster kind of on the back wall. If you have all 20, the achievement or trophy unlocks. And one of the last things we'll do here is called the Just Making Sure achievement / trophy. You'll use the rocket launcher on the clock tower to take care of the sniper. And then once that sniper falls out, you have to go up to him and interact with him. For some reason, the achievement or trophy does not unlock on screen for me, but it did unlock as it was supposed to. The final chapter of the game will have you take possession of a tank as you run away from a boss. And here we can grab the Destruction Derby achievement / trophy for wrecking a total of 24 cars using our own vehicle here. And this is something that you kind of shouldn't miss, as there's a lot of cars on the way, and you don't even particularly have to try to hit them all that much. You'll get about 10 of them in this little first section, and then at the very end of this section, there's like another 10 that are just in a giant pile. So by the time you finish off, you should get this to unlock. If it doesn't, you might want to try to start quickly reloading the last checkpoint, or just try doing this chapter again once you beat the game. Last but not least, in an effort to avoid spoilers, if you finish the main story and get the secret ending, which requires all 5 coffins in one playthrough, you will get the Friends Reunited achievement and trophy to unlock. And at that point, you should have your 1000 gamer score or your platinum trophy. Thank you so much for watching. Hope the video was helpful. Drop a like. Special thanks to everyone on Patreon for supporting the show. Peace.